We have arrived. This is Route 941, brought to you by the world's greatest shoe store, Greenlee Shoe.
This is Dennis. Glad you're riding shotgun with me as we travel our region to find the best in local country music.
Colin Fowlie is a brilliant songwriter from Fredericton. He's a songwriter that actually inspires other songwriters. His songs make you think, they make you feel, and I've experienced this in live performances as well as in listening to his music in my truck. I'm really glad to have him with me here tonight. Colin Fowlie, welcome to Route 941 on Country 94.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's awesome that you're here. Colin, what I really enjoy about your music is that it's a great mixture of well-crafted lyrics and beautifully supported music. So, in essence, it's like getting two paintings in one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So, I read that you had started recording back as far as 2015. How did you actually get started in recording, Colin?
Yeah, so my first recording project was not long after I started songwriting, and I kind of got into that game a little bit later in life. And I recorded an EP in my basement using GarageBand. I actually had somebody who knew what they were doing help me mix it. And then I went on to record a full-length studio album that we recorded throughout 2018. It came out in 2019. And I did that at Marshall Studios here in Fredericton. And then I got into this album. We did it in 2020 during the pandemic. And I got to upgrade my game in every way, my songwriting, my playing. And I got to work with some incredible folks on this project that were real subject matter experts when it came to the kind of music that I'm trying to make and the sound that I was trying to craft. So it was just a great combination.
The mix on the album is really great, Colin. I mean, your vocals are so well supported. Your voice is recorded beautifully. The guitars, they just sound wonderful. Of course, the drums and the bass are big, fat, and full. And then there's the lead guitar work on it. And that's part of the fun of being a musician and doing a project like this.
Yeah.
Is that you get to have the opportunity to work with different people. And Ariel Posen, incredible guitar player. What a treasure that must have been.
Yeah, he was named, I think, by Music Radar, among other publications, as one of the world's top 10 modern guitar players. So you can't find a better guitar player. The way that we seem to work together is incredibly complementary. And so what he did to frame up my songs and my acoustic guitar playing with what he was doing was really amazing to watch. So watching him create in real time was it was an education for me.
Do you think you had those moments of maybe breathless wonderment while you're inspired?
Completely. And it's made me pick up my guitar, and I'm a full-time artist. So I've been putting in just hours a day like I'm a kid being forced by very strict parents to put in that time on the piano. But I'm doing it voluntarily because I'm just so inspired by working with Ariel and the rest of the team. It's been great.
I want to draw the attention to what you said just a moment ago. By doing it all voluntarily, putting in all that extra time, you're training, you're getting stronger, because music, singing, playing an instrument, it's all like muscle training. And the more exercise that you put into it, the stronger and the better that it gets. So it's only beneficial, right?
Yep.
And I found too that with songwriting, that can be really similar. Wherever you've left off with that song that you've just finished, that will sometimes open the door for you for that next song that you're just destined to write.
Absolutely, yep. If you get tripped up on one, I find it's a good idea to just finish it. Even if it's not the greatest thing you ever wrote, get it out of the way and just keep writing. The other thing is not being too precious about what you're doing. Be willing to listen to feedback, not just from other knowledgeable songwriters.
Right.
But from your friends who might not know a whole lot about music, giving you their thoughts on your music, because you want to reach an audience.
Yeah.
And what I do find is that folks will kind of dismiss that feedback if the person delivering it isn't a songwriter, isn't knowledgeable in the area.
Yeah.
I've learned over the years how my art is received, and I look for ways, without compromising what I'm doing, to better connect with people. A lot of what I was doing on this album came down to being a little bit more pop sensible with my melody, because people who listen to the words really seem to get it. But a friend of mine isn't a songwriter, and he's like, I don't know if you want to hear it from me, where I'm not an accomplished musician myself. But what I kind of think is people are going to listen more to the lyrics if you get a melody stuck in their head and then they play it over and over for the melody, then the lyrics really have a chance to sink in. Is that something you've thought about? And I was like, no, but I'm going to.
I like that.
And so I've tried to incorporate more of that into my songwriting. What's popular, and how can I learn to or take just little bits of sensibility from that and bring it into my songwriting, which I don't ever want to water down lyrically.
No.
In order to land on the radio or whatever. So I'm very, very particular about that.
Well, that's your message, right? That's exactly. The music is one thing. The music is supporting, but the lyrics and that content, that is the heart of what it is that you're writing.
Exactly. So how can I frame them up better? And that's what I'm always working on.
I really love that you took the advice of your friend, someone that just truly loves music. Because here's the thing, we as musicians, we can get stuck into a process, we're trying to do it the way that Johnny Cash did it, or the way that Merle Haggard did it. But for anyone else that isn't a musician, they just love music and songs. So they hear it differently than we do.
100%. And I think that when we create, it's very personal.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's extremely difficult to hear constructive feedback that isn't positive.
Oh yeah, that can be difficult for sure.
But it's difficult, but it's important. And I think that you have to shed just enough ego that you can have that exchange of feedback. But you still need a certain amount of ego to write songs and think that it's worth people paying some money to listen to them. So it's like striking that balance.
Just like when you flew to Manitoba to work on the new album with Ariel in producing, where he's such a revered guitarist, that had to be just a little bit intimidating, stepping into the studio and having him listen to and analyze your parts and then have him work with that. But I've also heard that he's just a great guy.
And everything about how he presents himself and works with you should completely put you at ease.
See, that's a gift right there.
It's just the fact that you know what he can do.
For sure.
So I was very self-conscious. That poor man spent a day and a half or more on the other end of a set of headphones listening to me play acoustic guitar.
Oh, man.
And knowing that it's really, my ego playing acoustic guitar on there because he could get into the booth and do what I'm trying to do.
Probably quickly.
And save us all some time and money.
Right.
But he was never like that and just super encouraging. And he's one of the kindest folks and supportive and encouraging that I've worked with. He's amazing.
That's fantastic. Now, not that you should feel overshadowed by any means, because we all do things differently. You're a wonderful guitarist. And over the years, I know that you've been experimenting with different tunings on the guitar.
I have, yeah.
Do you find that helps to coax out a melody or a vocal line or maybe even just a vocal lyric inspiration?
I find that it really does. And different tunings just change the color of the chords. And when you're writing roots Americana country music, you're probably familiar with this as well, Dennis, as a songwriter yourself. You sometimes get locked into, you feel like you're always just using the same chords.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But there's not that many chords to use. And changing up the tuning takes the same repertoire of chords and musical ideas you have, and it changes the colors of them so that you see new things. And it's really just a tool to coax those different vibes and colors out of the guitar, which in turn inspire my songwriting process.
That's fantastic. That's really great. Your new album is East of Nowhere. You've got a live show coming up. When are you playing live?
So we're going to play all of this record except for one song at the Fredericton Playhouse this Saturday, which is June the 19th.
And that's tomorrow.
And I'm working with a full 6-piece band on this. So a rhythm section that I've worked with for years, as well as Huey Lord on keys. We've added, it's James Rooney and Jarrett Meadows. They're on bass and drum. And I don't want to leave them unnamed, but they've been working with me for the longest, since the beginning. And we've added Blair Nicole, who's going to be playing electric guitar, lap steel, and backup vocals, and Keegan Doppelstein is adding more guitar and vocals. So recreating some of what Ariel does requires a few more hands on deck.
I'm sure it's going to sound amazing.
It's going to be it's a lot of fun. Like we're having a blast. The band is starting to gel. Like it's been limited the amount that we can rehearse because of different scenarios. We have 2 members that live in a different health zone. So when things get hot with COVID and we're not traveling between zones, we're not practicing, and things heated up again, a few weeks back, and we had to pause rehearsals. We actually had to push the show out. So, it's we're really starting to come into our own, but we hope that this is just the first in a run of shows to show off this music, because I think that I think it's worth it. I think people are really going to dig it, and I think it punches above its weight for kind of where I'm at as far as level of notoriety. If I can be a little bit bold there.
No, you have to take a little bit of pride in what you create, and one of the things I love about you is that you're actually a very humble guy, but you've got the chops that if you wanted to be boastful, you could be. But
so I'm trying to be just a little bit more bold, but I have to stay within my comfort zone. Because
you've got to be you.
Once you've worked with somebody like Ariel, it's pretty hard to be cocky.
Oh, man. That's valid right there. So with the live show coming up on Saturday, is there one song in particular off the new album that you're looking forward to playing most?
There are a couple that really came together in band practice. Someone's favorite song, and Inside Out with the band.
Very nice.
And man, they're fun. They're so fun.
I can imagine. The one that really gets me right off the top, Colin, is Bridge to Nowhere. The lyrical content is amazing. The acoustic guitar is beautiful. And then, of course, the rest of the band. And Ariel just puts this haunting beauty behind it.
That's a fun one, too. And the reason I put that as track one on the album is because it kind of shows a progression. It starts out with just me and a guitar finger picking, which you've heard many times. And then we bring in a bit of piano and bass. Okay, we got a different vibe here. And then when Ariel and Cody and Julian come in, Cody on drums and Julian on bass on the record, and things build. And then you realize this is what its sound is now. That's kind of why I made that statement.
That's beautiful. I can't wait for people to hear that song. And I can't wait for people to hear your new record in a live setting. Not a COVID setting, but a live setting with real bodies, real band, real PA system and lights. And I wish you nothing but the best. On Saturday night, it's you and who else is on the bill, Colin?
Kendra Gale.
Man, what a killer lineup. Kendra Gale Band, and then Colin Fowlie. Man, that is some good music right there.
It's going to be a good night. It's going to be a great night.
Colin, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I had a wonderful time talking.
Me too. It's been all my pleasure. Thank you, brother.
If you'd like to learn more about Colin and his music, you can just head to his website, colinfowlie.com. From his 2021 album, East of Nowhere, this is Bridge to Nowhere, Colin Fowlie on Country 94.
Her favorite thing about this town is the bridge across the water. It's a quiet place for working through your thoughts under the sun. It carried one last load of coal back when she was someone's daughter. But her folks passed not long after the final train had run. The mine collapsed the same year that the mill was slowing down. Anyone with half the means picked up and moved away. Before then she had everything she needed in this town. But now she tends the bar where she sells some pills to keep the bills at bay. There's a sorrow in the comfort of growing up where you will die. When you don't know any different, you don't know how to live a lie. And you won't even change the picture that came with the frame. The truth be told, there's nothing here that will ever be the same. At 15 he dropped out of school because he wasn't gonna make it. They said he had the kind of looks to maybe chase after some fame. When he made the promise to get out, he didn't plan to break it. But no one's keen to hire some kid who can barely spell his name. There's a sorrow in the comfort of growing up where you will die. When you don't know any different, you don't know how to The truth be told, there's nothing here that will ever be the same. Kinda settled here for the best of what's around. Neither one was staring down the barrel of a loaded gun. When your dreams are so damn far away, it's tough to chase them down, 'cause it takes so much to move it all, and even more to run. There's a sorrow in the comfort of growing up where you will die. When you don't know any different, you don't know how to live a life. You won't even change the picture that came with the frame. Truth be told, there's nothing here that will ever be the same. The truth be told, there's nothing here that will never be the same.
Thanks for riding with me as we check our region to find the best in local original country music. Come back again next week and I'll feature another artist. Route 941 is brought to you by the world's greatest shoe store, Greenlee Shoe and Country 94.